Hello everyone, welcome back. And this video I'm going to be reading chapter 2 of my old Hetalia fanfiction, Hetaoni Unheard Screams. So let's begin. Gilbert looked around the main foyer of the house. He made sure to film every part of it. The inside of the house feels like it is from an entirely different epoch, Gilbert commented. The foyer felt so old-fashioned compared to how houses usually looked. The dim lights were the only things that kept the room lit. Other than how old the room felt, Gilbert did not feel anything odd. That was until he heard heavy footsteps from the floor above him, and the lights began to flicker on and off. Gilbert pulled out his flashlight, flicked it on, and pointed it toward the stairs. Gilbert immediately regretted doing so, since he felt his heart nearly jump into his throat. At the top of the stairs was a tall figure. It slowly walked down the stairs. Both of Gilbert's hands shook while he was holding his flashlight and camera. His face paled when he saw the thing was not human. An appalling smell could be smelled from it. Its disgusting light mix of blue and purple skin made it look like an alien. Its soulless eyes leered at Gilbert, almost like how a predator stared at its prey. Gilbert did the only thing he could do. He screamed before running for his life. "Eliza, please wake up." Elizabeta woke up, drowsy and having no idea what was going on. However, by the panicked tone of her girlfriend's voice, she assumed something bad was going on, or had happened. "What is going on?" "Do you remember the creature we saw earlier?" Erika asked. "Yes, why?" Elizabeta could immediately tell that something was wrong. Erika's demeanor had completely changed. She seemed terrified by something, and it most likely had to do with the creature Erika brought up. "The creature's been trying to break into this house." Elizabeta sat up, wary of what she just heard. She was sure that she had only seen it, but if Erika had seen it, then it had to be real. The lights were already out, and the only light came from the porch light outside. A large figure could be seen behind it. "It's back." Both girls looked out the glass door that had a large crack on it, petrified out of their mind. The creature moved closer until it was right up at the door. "My big brother has a rifle upstairs," Erika said quietly. "We could go and get it." Elizabeta was frozen in fear. The creature seemed to have its eyes on her, those large black eyes that could fill anyone with fear. They did not hold care toward anyone in high esteem. "We need to get out of here." Elizabeta grabbed Erika's wrist and rushed her toward the front door. Both girls got their shoes sitting at the bottom of the stairs while they heard the creature moving around outside. "Wait, it could be out in front," Erika protested. Elizabeta looked outside and saw nothing outside other than the street lights lit up. "Come on, it is better to outrun the thing than to run upstairs." "If you say so, but where would we go? Almost everyone's house lights are out." "We'll just run until we find a house with lights on," Elizabeta answered, turning the doorknob. Elizabeta flung open the door and both girls ran. They ran out just in the nick of time as the creature got out of the backyard and was out in front. They ran as fast as they could with the creature hot on their tails. Some time had passed after Gilbert got chased. Andrei and Tsvetan had entered the house. So basically, to explain this scene, Gilbert's scream is what Andrei and Tsvetan heard in chapter 1. And so some time had passed, like when they were debating whether to go in or not, and then they ended up going in because frickin' Hetaoni. So, just sort of to explain things. All the lights were out, but Tsvetan had his flashlight and turned it on. Andrei was trying to meditate over what they had seen outside. A creature had cornered them, and they had no choice but to enter the house. It was hard to think when he discerned that the atmosphere was toxic and dangerous. "This is scary," Andrei commented. "I think we need to get back outside. We have nowhere else to go. The thing is outside, and if we leave, it could do something to us." "I know, but this place is no better." Both boys looked around the foyer. They noticed how old the house looked. Andrei's eyes immediately lit up as if he had a great idea. "You know, I've heard that old houses like these have secret passageways and rooms." "Why are you bringing that up?" "If we find a safe place, we can stay there until morning, and then the creatures will not be outside." Tsvetan took in Andrei's interesting counsel. Finding a citadel would be a good idea in such an odd environment. "That sounds good." Now, before Tsvetan could finish, a low, loud roar rang out through the house. Running was heard coming closer to the room. "What was that?" Andrei tried to wrest Tsvetan away, but Tsvetan was frozen. The roar chilled him to the bone. The heavy footsteps of something was coming closer and closer. Either that, or it was the loud thumping of his heart. Tsvetan could not tell them apart. Andrei dragged him upstairs just as something burst into the room. The creature looked over at the two. Tsvetan felt like his heart would burst out of his chest at any moment while Andrei was trying to pull him up the stairs. Once at the top of the stairs, Andrei pulled Tsvetan close. "We need to run. We can't just stand here," Andrei whispered. At last the couple ran. The creature followed loudly behind them. Neither boys knew where they were going as long as they were going to escape this creature ready to kill them. After Andrei and Tsvetan had been chased, Jakub arrived at the two Motherfucker, why didn't I freaking edit this? Despite it only having a brevity of time to think about what to do, he knew he had to warn the students that came to the house. Jakub let himself in the house. It was pitch dark in the house, so he pulled out his flashlight and turned it on. Looking around, Jakub noted every little detail. Someone has been in here recently. The house almost seemed salvageable if it were not for the haunting feeling the house held. Jakub examined the dusty furniture and found fingerprints as if someone had touched the furniture recently. He looked through the bookshelves and flipped through the books. The books were mostly old storybooks, none of which had been touched until Jakub touched the spines. Jakub opened one book and found a key inside. He picked it up and set the book back on the shelf. He looked around the living room once more, but this time something seemed different. A figure was seen in the shadows in the hall. A figure was seen in the shadows in the hall. Jakub feigned obliviousness and slowly walked up the stairs. He could tell that the figure was not a student since it looked more like the creature he had seen earlier. Eliska had arrived at the abandoned house. After relentlessly thinking about what to do, she knew she had to help Jakub. She walked up to the door when she heard running coming from behind. She turned around to see Elizabeta and Erika running up to the house. They seemed to be out of breath, and they stopped at the porch trying to redeem their breath. "I thought you guys were watching horror movies." "We were, but this creature was outside trying to break into the house. We had to run for it." "Did the creature look like a large alien? I saw something like that." Erika nodded, looking up at Eliska. Eliska felt a great deluge of fear fall on her, realizing that the creature was going after them. She knew she had to find Jakub as soon as possible. Opening the front door, the three girls stepped inside. Eliska closed the door behind them and looked around the place with her flashlight. "I can't believe that idiot came in here without thinking things through," Eliska muttered. "You sure do have a lot of censure when it comes to Jakub." "Well, he sure can be flighty at the worst possible moments," Elizabeta brought up. "I'm sure he is finding his way around since he is obsessed with little details." "Either that or it is slowing him down," Eliska said. "The sooner we find him, the better." The girls looked around the foyer. Eliska immediately noticed the fingerprints on the dusty furniture and books. "I guess Jakub's obsession with details has rubbed off on me. It seems like someone was touching some stuff recently. Either that was Jakub or one of the guys." One of the other guys. "Other?" Eliska questioned. "Gilbert said he was going to come here to film some video," Elizabeta explained. "Oh yeah, I heard Andrei and Tsvetan talking about coming here. Tsvetan did not seem all that excited about coming here." "Perhaps they decided not to come," Erika inquired. "Yeah, I'm sure Tsvetan somehow talked Andrei out of coming here. All we have to worry about is Jakub and Gilbert, neither of which have custody from anyone. They could get into a heap of trouble without someone watching out for them." "This is just so chaotic," Erika commented. "And what if other students came here without our knowledge?" "I guess we will have to help them if we run into them," Elizabeta replied. The three girls looked through the bookshelves. After finding nothing, they decided to head upstairs. They had no idea that their situation would turn from bad to worse in a short amount of time. Alright, that was chapter 2. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for chapter 3. See ya!